Good evening. My name is Gilbert Ravella, and for the very brief time I have before you tonight, I would like to be a small window into the living room of a fallen military family. My college sweetheart, Troy Gilbert, became my husband, father of our 5 children, and a U.S. Air Force F-16 pilot, and ultimately a war hero. On the morning of November 27, 2006, Troy had been deployed for 3.5 months to support Operation Iraqi Freedom. I was back home in Arizona with our 5 children, ages 9, 6, 3, and 9-month-old twins. There was a knock at the front door, and I remember it as the moment before our lives changed forever. Troy and his F-16 had gone down in one of the most heroic and historic missions of OIF. He saved over 60 soldiers and special operators. They all went home to be with their wives and children because Troy made the selfless choice that he did. The 15 Iraqi insurgents, early ISIS members that Troy killed just seconds before he crashed, would not be so lucky. I received a letter from one of the special operators stating that though he would never know my husband, he sensed his strength of character, putting his life on the line in their defense. Then he wrote something I would never forget. He said Major Gilbert did not loiter at high altitudes, but came in guns engaged, full force, ready to help those of us who so desperately needed him. Those words would come to mean more to me as the years went on. Overnight, at the age of 36, I became a war widow, and my children became fatherless. But the nightmare would not end there for us. I would later learn that day that Troy's lifeless body was taken by enemy insurgents. My college sweetheart would become their wartime trophy. A small amount of DNA found at the crash site confirmed that he had been killed upon impact. And I knew then that as a faithful follower of Jesus Christ, he was home with the Lord. There would be peace in that. Yet in sorrow, I was left to raise our children and go on without him. And our private pain became front-page CNN news. I was utterly devastated, yet I had no choice, like many of our war widows, but to carry on. A year and a half later, I would meet another widower, surprisingly another Air Force fighter pilot, Colonel Gilbert Ravella. I met and married him 5 months later, and I attribute this to watching probably too much Top Gun in the 8th grade. Jim lost his wife to breast cancer and was left to raise their 2 boys all alone. We became quite the modern-day Brady Bunch. He's here with me tonight. Folds of honor also came into my life. He deserves a round of applause for taking us on. Folds of honor came into my life about that time and began assisting my children with their education. So those 5 little kids of mine are now growing up. My oldest son is a sophomore here in Dallas at SMU, playing on their men's soccer team. My other 4 children, now ages 17 to 11, are in a small Christian college prep school in San Antonio, Texas, where we live. Troy's legacy of selfless service lives on in them. And kids like mine are not alone. They are our nation's brightest future, along with 1 million other children from those killed or disabled in Iraq and Afghanistan. They are all overcomers. Last fall, after almost 10 years since Troy was killed, I got the news I prayed for while he was away in heaven, that his body was recovered in a dangerously covert special ops mission where others would risk their lives for him, just as he did that day back in November of '06. In fact, it would be the very same unit that Troy saved that would eventually find him, because they never leave anyone behind on the field of battle, so help them God. That is the type of men and women who serve this nation, the 1% who are willing to sacrifice life and limb for the other 99% of us. What I want to leave you here with tonight is you do not have to wear a uniform to serve your nation. You can serve your nation by serving those who defend and protect you. That red stripe on the American flag symbolizes the blood that was shed for all of our freedom. It's that flag that would cover Troy all the way home from Iraq last year. It's the flag we should all stand up for, no matter our beliefs or our differences. The actual weight of the folded flag is only 2.3 pounds, but I believe I can speak for all of us who have carried one home. It's beyond heavy. It's crushing. Thank you to American Airlines, to Air Power Foundation, to all of you here tonight for the considerable donations that you make that help make that load a little bit lighter by supporting the Folds of Honor Foundation. God bless you, and God bless America.